Morning, Phil from Moto-Mate. Here we are today with a Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello. We have the new Moto-Mate navigation mount for said Moto Guzzi. As per the KTM nav mount, this one will mount up behind the TFT, so it will come through. So once fitted, it will look a factory finish. It'll be completely obscured by the bodywork and the instruments. You've got a solid, rigid mount there with lots of swan neck and strengthening applied to that, so it's not going to go anywhere. I've pre-installed my Garmin XT cradle, but for Craig's bike, when we leave it, we're going to have the Quadlock installed on that as well, or instead of, sorry. So let's get on with putting it on and see what it looks like. First step, 4mm Allen key, just pop the screen off, 4 screws. The screen on these is sat on some rubber bushes, so pops off. You can park that somewhere safe so it doesn't get scratched. Right, the next stage is we're going to remove these 2 screws here and remove this trim panel on the inside and do the same on this side. That pops away. Same on the other side. That's like that. The next stage is to remove this top trim panel. So we've got 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and we've got 1 here just under the cross brace of the screen. And in order to get to that one, what we're going to need to do is just to lift the screen. So try and remember on how the menu works on there. There we go. Right, that's the screen raised. Right, on the front, on this trim panel down at the front where it locates down here. So this trim panel, this is all coming off. And there are a couple of press-in lugs just under here. So it's still held, but you just need to be a little bit careful about withdrawing them. This one. And push in there. There we go, that's away. Okay, so the next stage is just to lift the TFT away from the mount. So as you can see, we've got 3 screws here, they're Phillips head screws. So they're going to come away, and then we're just going to unplug and then lift the TFT away. Especially with the bottom screw, be careful you don't drop it in the bike, because there's not a lot of room to go and find it. This one. And because the navigation mount is effectively putting a spacer between the TFT and the mounting frame, we've got some spacers included in the kit and some longer self-tapping screws. So the screen can now come through off its mount. So here in the kit are the 3 spacers for the TFT mount and the longer screws. We're going to use the original washers that came off the shorter screws back under these when we reinstall the TFT. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got the connector here to release the TFT. There's a little detent in there which we need to push and unplug, like so. TFT mount goes on the back and that connector goes back in place. You'll hear a little click when it's engaged. The longer screw, the original washer and the spacer. Reconnected, that comes back in place and there's just enough there to engage on its 3 bushes. So with the longer screw and the washer, I should put those other ones out the way so I don't drop everything. So with the spacer, the washer and the longer screw, that's going to go up in there. Just wind that in with my finger so it will hold in place. mount's all fitted up, so now it's a case of reversing what we did, but obviously we need to get some clearance around that to refit the panel. So I'm just going to bring the screen down a bit again to drop that in, like so, and then bring it back up again just so we can clear that screw to access it. So again, as before, we've got these little detent clips here which just need to be go and latch in. As you can see, the nav mount is now sat up above the instruments. It's pretty solid and nice and discreet. So let's just pop the screen on and we can show you the articulation. So pop the screen back on 4 screws. As you can see, we're not obscuring any information on the display, so you've got a clear view of your instruments. You've got the nav in a position where you can easily see it without taking your eyes off the road. And if we go scroll through to screen adjustment, screen all the way down, nav just sits level with the top of the screen. This is a Garmin XT, and as it articulates up, it's clear then underneath as well. So no interference with the screen function. There we are, one Garmin XT installed. Quick, easy, about 10 screws and 1 connector. Really easy to do, puts the nav in a much safer position than clamped on the handlebars where you're taking your eyes off the road. And yeah, perfect. Any questions, check the website, give me a shout. Cheers, bye.